BC Lions Canadian defensive lineman Christian Covington joins us, and I'm most curious with you about your transition from the NFL to the CFL. You didn't come back mid-season like some guys do. I talked to Austin Mack about that, but you decided to continue playing in the CFL even after you've earned a substantial living in the NFL. So my first question would be, why the decision to keep on playing football?
Oh, it's been a passion of mine forever. This is something that I've been wanting to play this game. I've been wanting to play this game at this level since I was 5 years old, and so opportunities may close in some with some teams down south. Opportunities may just never arise, but the passion never ends, and I knew I wanted to keep playing this game, and opportunity presented itself in the form of me being able to come back home and literally in with the BC Lions. So this is something that I don't want to keep. I want to keep playing football until I can't play anymore. Until family obligations are one thing, or if my heart's not in it anymore. But that's something I don't think is going to happen anytime soon. I want to keep playing this game for as long as possible.
It's good for the BC Lions potentially,
Yes.
and also the Canadian Football League. From a playing standpoint, what was that transition like going from the NFL to the CFL? Did you have to drop weight, or what were some of the things that you had to change?
I was told to be able to. I knew what to anticipate. I knew what to expect. It's a fast-paced league. It's a fast-paced game. The Canadian game is very much just high tempo and very rapid, quick, and just a lot of open space and a lot of even faster guys who are a lot quicker and can make you look silly on the field if you give them that opportunity to do so. And so initially, I was very much adamant about, I think I've played my whole career at like around down south. I was around 305, 310, always playing that interior, either me being a true like 3-tech defensive tackle or a 4 or like that defensive end in a 3-4 system. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I should. I know it's gonna come. It's a passing league. There are gonna be times that you're on the league on the field for many plays and many series in a row. You just never know what the outcome could be. Why not just lose some weight? So I came into camp at around like 277, 280. I dropped down, but then I started as the season finally started. I started realizing like, you know what? I've kind of lost that little oomph behind it. I'm like, I'm quick, yeah, but like I know the first time I tried to do a bull rush, the first time I tried to do like a signature like power move, I'm like, ooh, it doesn't have the same like impact that it used to have. So slowly I started like, increasing the food, kind of like just increasing the weight room aspect in season. And I end up like I finish out the season like 295, just go like back to like a good, like solid weight. I'm like, yeah, you know what? This is something that I can take on the run. You got to be able to do that against teams like Winnipeg. I'm still strong enough to be able to pass. I'm still quick enough to be able to pass rush, but I got that little power behind it as well now. So that's where I'm at right now. So this is where I'm going to be. I'm not trying to get down to 270s anytime. That's going to be my retirement weight.
Would you say that the CFL game is quicker than the NFL game?
I'd say that it's quicker in a respect to the players that you have, the players that are up here, and the dimensions of the field itself. It's like, you have 20-yard end zones, man. You have like the middle of the field's a 50 to 55 yard line. It's wider, it's bigger. It's just more opportunities for plays to be made, for players to get juked out, for anything to happen. And so with that being said, the guys up here, they know how to take advantage of that space. They know how to take advantage of the field that we play on. And I have to say it was a lot quicker than I anticipated coming in. I knew it was going to be a challenge. There was never a moment where I was going to be like, this is going to be, I'm coming from the NFL. This is going to be easy. No, it's professional football. This is the CFL. CFL has been around way longer than that. Been around longer than the NFL. And so I know I'm still going against some of the best players in the world at the end of the day. It's just a matter of, whether or not these guys were able to make it to the, have their moments and have their time in the NFL. It's different reasons altogether. But at the end of the day, this is pro football. This is high level pro football. This is as good as it gets, up there with the NFL. So you see it day in and day out, every game day with the talent that we have in this league. It's phenomenal.
How would you assess your first year overall in the CFL with BC?
A transition, I would say so. It started off a little slower to my liking. Um, it's, I think I want to say, just, and that being able to have that time establishing that chemistry with your team itself. Like, I did not have an off season. The moment that I signed with the team, I think I had like 2-3 weeks before training camp was going to get started. I'm just like, oh yeah, I gotta really push it now and get back to that mindset of like, yeah, you get ready for training camp, get ready for your new team, get ready to build these relationships and build this camaraderie that every football team needs, and every defense that every unit is going to need. Me in particular, obviously the defensive side of the ball. So it was still great. It was fun being able to be home. It was fun to be able to play in front of the hometown fans. But it was a little bit of a transition of just like, it's like the little things, like that yard off is so real, that yard off the ball. And again, a lot of people may not know this, but like, this was my first time ever playing Canadian rules ever. Like, not even, my parents didn't let me play Pee Wee football. My first time playing football, organized football, was grade 8. And then obviously in British Columbia, high school level, at middle school, secondary, you play American rules with football. So it was truly a transition of like, it's the little things that you don't really know. Like, you don't really know how it's going to affect you until you actually play the game, until you actually get into a practice. So especially as a defensive lineman, that yard off messes up until you truly get used to it. It messes up your timing. It messes up your pass rush. It messes up the amount of steps that you're used to with trying to do certain moves within your repertoire, within your skill set. And it's just like, it takes some practice. It takes some getting used to it. It takes some building up. So it was, we started slow. I felt myself obviously becoming a lot more comfortable as the season progressed. And, I was fairly successful with what I was able to accomplish with the team. And, we were fairly successful as a team as a team as a whole. But season didn't end the way we wanted it to, and we're looking to change that now.
There was a lot of hype with that team last year because BC was hosting the Grey Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Mar Doman was willing to spend way over the salary cap
Mm-hmm.
and put a bunch of money into the Grey Cup Festival as well. When you break down last year, why did you think you guys didn't get to the Grey Cup?
I think it starts with honestly self-accountability, of being able to understand and humble yourselves whenever things are going to go wrong. I've never played no one that's ever played organized football has ever had a perfect game, unless unless you were counting Pee Wee. No one's ever played a perfect game of football. There's no such thing, unless you went to some powerhouse high school in Texas or California. There are going to be mistakes made. There's going to be moments where, things are not going to be going your way. There's going to be a moment in a game or at halftime, or even in meetings before, meetings afterwards, just going to be that moment of like, self-realization, or that time that you have to look in the mirror and be like, how this happened. We have to move on. How do we get better? And I feel that we didn't do that as often and as well as we should have. There were times where I know myself in particular, it's like, I'm always going to be critical of myself and harsh on myself when it comes to film. And I feel like we needed more of that accountability, that self-accountability, of being able to like understand like, I played a bad game, or it wasn't the best scheme, or it wasn't, we didn't have the right mindset going in with that week of practice. And so how are we going to better ourselves? How are we going to correct this? How are we going to move on for this in order for us to be successful, or us to win this game? And us being able to take that accountability, and us being able to, learn from our mistakes, and not take it as like, we're being attacked as a person, we're being attacked as a man on the field. It's like, no, we're just trying to be coached. We're just trying to be, we're trying to get better in every facet of the game, in every area of the game. And we have to be able to take that and move with it, and move on and move forward with it. And from there, we're going to be able to see the success be translated onto, into the win column this season. So it just starts with that self-realization of just like, hey man, like, we're all going to make mistakes. How are we going to better ourselves?
What were your thoughts about Nathan Rourke coming back to the team mid-season from the NFL? And I say that because you've been in the NFL for a long time. You know what it's like. He's got to learn another playbook. Like, he had all those NFL playbooks in his mind. And just how difficult do you think that transition could be mid-season?
It is difficult, and honestly, it was. I know it was tough on Nathan, but I have to give a shout out to to Vernon Adams, man. Like it was tough on him too, just to know that you've done everything you can for a franchise or for a club, but it's just like, hey, these are things that are just out of your control. That it's like, hey, this is a team that is touted to and has high expectations of just trying to win and wanting to win now, and it was a very difficult. I feel like it was a difficult thing to navigate for many parties that were involved, and and both guys handled it with such grace. Both guys handled it like true professionals, because again, it wasn't this. It was how the cards were dealt, and for a guy like Nathan to come in with the success that he's had, because even when during my time in the NFL, like we were hearing about this kid from Canada who was making a name for himself, who was making waves, who ended up getting his shot down south, and was showing up in preseason games and actually like doing this thing. We knew about this, and we knew about a guy like him. So the quarterback position is a special position too. And for him to make that transition mid-season after the amount of years that he was down south, and then not only that, to then, hey, you're coming back and you're starting against the Argonauts this week. Whoo, that's a tall task. So it's a different playbook. It's a different sized ball. It's a different. It's just a different scheme altogether. Like obviously, just like 3 downs versus 4 from the easiest example to give. So he did what he could. I will say that there has to a lot of more people need to give grace to how he was able to make that transition back mid-season and accomplish what he was able to accomplish with the season that we had. But I feel like, you know what? And again, he didn't even have a training camp. It's hard to build chemistry with your guys. It's hard to build chemistry with even if he had guys on the team that he had played with in the past, but it's not the same. So him having an offseason under his belt, him getting in the reps, him working with our offensive weapons that we have, that is just huge and critical. And I know he is going to be such a weapon and such a dominant force for us this year. And we cannot wait. And and we have to give, and again, shout out to VA. We love him. We appreciate what he was able to do for this franchise and for this team. And Calgary got a good one in him. So that's another guy that we're going to miss.
What's it like for the Lions to have a guy like Nathan Rourke, who was born out in the province on offense, and you on defense, like 2 key pillars for this team are somewhat hometown boys?
Yeah, man. I will say it's a blessing. It's an honor. It's great to see the homegrown talent of just athletes being able to just come in and just make an impact however they can, and just not even like just the hometown, the homegrown aspect of it. It's to see the amount of Canadian players that are just like making a name for themselves in this league too. It's just, you see it with the Philpott brothers. You see it with obviously Matthew Betts doing his thing, and boy, am I glad to have him back this season, man. Where he is, like, and talk about another guy that just was thrown into the fire midway through, that didn't really get to build that chemistry with the guys. You have so many examples and so many guys who just have that talent and who are just showing out for their teams, showing out for this league. And it's a testament to obviously their hard work. It's a testament to the type of player that they are. But it's another testament to the aspect of like, that extra sense of like, Canadian pride that you have of being able to be like, no, I want to show out for, this is my home. This is my birth. This is my birthplace. Like, I want to be able to give it all I can, for this league, for these people, for the fan base. For everybody that's involved somehow, some way.
What's it like for the guys on defense to have a new defensive coordinator in Mike Benavides and
Mm-hmm.
the former one in Ryan Phillips?
Mm-hmm.
Takes a demotion, but he's still on the staff.
Yeah, no, and RP is always going to be our guy. He's great, great man, great coach, and still have him on the coaching staff is going to be a tremendous help for us. And the fact that he was able to, he no one wants to be demoted in any case, but the fact that he's handling it with grace and with and with clarity, knowing that what the end goal is for this team is a testament to the guy that he is. And Benny is energetic. Benny is. Man, we saw just obviously I've just had a glimpse of him as a special teams as our special teams coach last year, but the energy, the fire, the passion that he brings, and not only that, but just the level of accountability that he brings, that he doesn't like, especially in those special teams meetings, it didn't matter what position you were. It didn't matter where on the depth chart you were. He was going to bring the best out of you in whatever drill, in whatever in whatever situation he has set up for us in practice, in the meeting rooms. If he brings that type of energy to the defensive room, yeah, this is going to be a unit to watch. So we are excited to have a guy like him who's just been around this league, been around this game for a long time, been around this league for such a long time, who brings that tenacity, who brings that knowledge, who brings that fire to the game. It's going to be incredible to see that on the defensive side of the ball.
Do you view Winnipeg as the team to beat in the West?
Oh, they're always a team to beat. They're always a team to beat. I feel like, Calgary's doing their thing. Saskatchewan's always going to be a tough battle itself. But Edmonton's putting together a squad as well. Edmonton is really doing that. They really did their thing this offseason. But when it always goes through, it's always Winnipeg at the end of the day. That's always the game that I knew that it was a game that I always knew growing up was always huge for BC, and it's a game that I get to be a part of now that I know is always going to be huge. So it's they're always going to be a team. But at the end of the day, we have a squad too, and you look at this roster, you see the talent that we have on this team. People got to go through us too. So it's going to be interesting to see with all these moving pieces, to see where these new faces have landed this offseason with their respective teams. It's going to be a fun season coming up.
Should be. Thanks for the time, Chris.
Appreciate you.